Oh, God. Whoa! Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a historical.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
That's got a
how 20th century. Right.
It take me back through the World War II.
All the great world wars. Yes.
All.
Well, Dennis.
All the great world wars.
Unlike WW, this is HH.
HH.
Happy hour, baby.
Happy. And so.
How are you doing this week, my friend?
Want to know why I'm happy?
Why are you happy?
Know why I'm happy?
Curious. There's a list.
Number one.
Okay, number one.
Yes, number one. See that beer?
There'd be a Smithwick.
Let me tell you what I did. I went out and I bought 3 6-pack of Smithwicks. I thought to myself, why do I go out and buy 2 and then have to go out again? I'll just buy 3.
Wait, I know the answer.
And what it's done instead
18.
is it's make me drink faster. What? 18-pack?
The answer to the word problem was 18 beers. No?
The weird problem that you have to talk about.
So you've been drinking faster because is there sell by dates? You're drinking faster
there's something about
because there's just more of them.
As many as I have creates a devil may care attitude, and I don't have to be worried, for example, about running out of beer. That's a big thing.
At least for a couple hours with 18 beers. Then you can send beer DoorDash. There's an app. A beer delivery app. We can call it Beer Now. Or Ask Thirsty. Or something. And so you open up your phone and you tap the thing and it asks you, do you want your usual? Which for you would just be like, of course.
You could Google this now and confirm in less than 2 minutes that what you've said has already been invented.
I could, but why would I? We're living in the moment. Remember back when you couldn't instantly confirm nor deny that a thing existed? Man, those were the days. I was thinking. Hold on. Okay. I have an anecdote about pre-internet world, but go ahead.
Okay. I have one too. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll go first. I was reminiscing the other day about how when I traveled abroad alone for the first time in 1999, and I went to Denmark to go live and was basically on my own. I was met at the train station a little bit late by a guy that was supposed to meet me there, and then he took me on the bus to my dorm area at the local college where I was staying, and basically just dropped me off and was like, all right, good luck. This is the address. This is the address of the place where you're supposed to show up to work on Monday at 10 a.m. or whatever. And then I lived there for 6 months, and I had all kinds of social life, and we met up with friends in the evenings in the middle of a huge European city. And thinking back on that now, the fact that I did any of that with no smartphone, no GPS, no immediate text contact with the people I was going to go meet while I was on the bus or the train or whatever to go where I was going. And the fact that all worked out, and I didn't know my friends' phone numbers, but we somehow agreed either in person or maybe over email.
So you know what that's called? That's called
the 20th century. What?
It's called making plans.
Oh, making plans.
Say capital M, capital P.
Yes. And
it goes back as far back as black and white TV.
I imagine that there were some plans involved in like building the pyramids too. But yeah, sure.
No.
That was just ad hoc. No, people showed up and what should we do? Grab that rock over there and put it up here.
Those ancient people. No way.
But the fact that world of not having a real-time map on my palm of where I am in a city just blows my 2020 mind. Like that anyone ever lived like that. And I can I'm totally seeing it from like the perspective of my children that like could not possibly imagine that. But anyway.
Yeah, and that is an old time. So similar to that is when I would back in the day travel to every major city in the US doing conferences and training and attending things, and consulting and doing the shit that I do to grease the old fucking machine here. And when you would get to a city, I would just say to the concierge, one meeting, 2 questions. Where do I get a good beer close by?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first question. Forgot the second one.
And where's a good steak? Or something.
No.
Call me a cab. With the local
beer and food.
Yeah. I know this is what I was going to say. 2 things. Beer and blues club. Because where I would get the beer, I would eat. So in Houston, it was the Blues Brothers bar down there, there. That dovetails nicely with my really only pre-mobile phone solo business trip, where I guess maybe it must have been the year 2000, my employer sent me to Chicago to attend a course to get a certification in some bullshit technology that no one remembers now. And they bought me the ticket and they put me up at this hotel in downtown Chicago, and it was winter. In fact,
what hotel?
I have no chance of remembering that. And it will shortly become clear what exact time of winter, because I wandered around the neighborhood and found a bar, and at a bar with a bunch of other dudes at the bar, I watched the Super Bowl.
Oh.
In the year 2000 at some bar in Chicago, some sports bar. And
cool.
Later,
that's a good time.
Right. And later, probably not that same night, but another night, I stumbled into the House of Blues in Chicago.
Oh.
And ordered myself a gin and tonic or whatever, and sat there and just had a jolly good hour just jamming.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
And I've been to 3 of them. Myrtle Beach, Houston, that I mentioned, New Orleans, which is a blast. So the New Orleans thing was Tab Benoit, and I got tickets
on the podcast.
I got tickets for his live concert, and he was traveling with this young guitarist. We'll put in the show notes.
The one that looks like me?
Just that would be you. Just a wild guitar player. He opened up, and Nikki, she had not been feeling well. And so when we got there, I stood in the line. I needed to stay in line. And she went to the ticket office, and she got a old-timers pass to go to the area where people who need a little more tender care can go, older, special needs, whatever. And so they escort us up. They escort us up to this balcony that overlooks the band on the 2nd story. Not like a seat, the balcony edge, a row, a seat, a row, a seat. This was an entire open area with cushioned couches everywhere. Like only 10 or 12 people, and everybody else. Not only were they like sardines everywhere in the club, but except for one area, nobody got to sit down.
So you
the entire downstairs, there's no seats. There's some stools at the bar. Otherwise, it's a wide open area. So Nikki, she cops this area, and we have our own waiter, and I'm like, yo, I'm down with this.
And just for looking,
sit right, the balcony seats to see it. And we got a couch.
Just for looking old and decrepit.
Well, no, for being old and decrepit.
Right.
No, not to know.
That's pretty cool.
No, well, being
That's
old and decrepit.
Something to look forward to.
Cool at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
You sent me this thing that shows in the new Borat movie that Giuliani
Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer,
is not knowing he's being filmed as Borat's fake daughter,
who is claimed to be 15 years old.
No, not at that point. There's a journalist interviewing him in his room alone, and apparently he untucked his shirt and then he reached down his pants, and this is in the movie that's being released on Friday. Borat jumps into the room. Spoiler, it'll be too late. Jumps into the room and says, "She's 15. She's too old for you."
Which is the perfect.
It's coming out on Friday. Just what else can happen?
No, but that doesn't. Okay, look, this means nothing. This is
an entertainment value.
This is entertaining.
Entertainment value.
This is entertaining the libs. Totally, because we're like, yes, look, these people are scum. These people are basically everything that the GOP blames the Democrats of. It's that they're really guilty of. So all of this like QAnon, child trafficking stuff.
Pedophilia.
It's like Trump was walking into dressing rooms of Miss Teen USA 20 years ago and looking at little teenage boobies, and just that's what they are. So of course that's what they project onto the Democrats, and I don't know. It's no one's mind is going to be changed by this, because the people that
no, and in fact, here's the naked truth.
So
there's been 26 million people who have already voted during the time that the polls are saying he's up 9, he's up 6, 5. And you know what's interesting? You hear this all the time, and this is a couple different news shows. This is say, here's what the polls say, but the election's still 2 weeks away, 4 weeks away, 6. It's what the polls say, and so things can change. All right, so that's one thing that they say. While they say that historically, right? Mm-hmm. They say that every year. While they're saying that historically, 4 million people are already voting, and so whatever those polls say for 4 million votes is likely, and you can see the data that connects those two things. So this year, there's 3 times, almost 4 times as many people doing the pre-voting.
Right.
And that is happening when Biden is 9 points up nationally and neck in some states, which is certainly the fact. But here's the thing. The people who are voting are Democrats. Twice as much, 3 times as much. And so that early voting is a Biden push that is digging Trump into a hole day after day. And no matter what he does to suppress the vote, these people say, the more you want me to vote, the more we're going to stand in line. We are going to go through storms. We will stand in the rain. We will be here all night. You trying to suppress us? Fuck you. We will not be suppressed. Fuck you. Good plan, Donald. Stupid fuck.
So you've decided who you're voting for then?
I'm undecided. Hey, did you see the town hall meeting where the Savannah was interviewing Trump, and there's this woman, this maddening woman who's in a blur when Trump is in focus, and you can just see that there's a woman dressed attractively, dark-skinned, obviously African-American or a black or brown woman,
right,
and dressed nicely, and no matter what Trump says, she's nodding yes. She's nodding yes. And when Trump says something doesn't make sense, she's nodding no. And so the audience is supposed to be undecided voters. And the woman, come to find out, I Googled her while it was happening, and I Googled and wrote, who the fuck is that woman nodding her head? But it wasn't until the next day that somebody had caught up with it. And it's a woman from another nation, an immigrant, in fact, who is a big Trump supporter in the Miami area. And so much for undecided. But tell me this. Do you think in any way, shape, or form that it was somehow just happenstance that this woman was in focus? Who do you think did that trick? Who pulled that off? Have you seen anything about that? No, we'll be the first. We had an analysis about who she is and blah, 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 but the analysis didn't include. That leads to this question. So, who fucking put her there? Who worked that out with fucking NBC? Who paid who? Follow the fucking money. How'd that woman get in the fucking screenshot for the entire fucking hour? How did that happen? Oh, it just happened? No way, Jose. No pun intended.
Hey, you know who would be really good at orchestrating such a thing? Is if there was someone that was like really good at, I don't know, reality TV that could make it look like it was just chance that this particular thing happened, but really it was all orchestrated the whole time. Somebody like that might be culpable or capable or both.
So, this reminds me of a Seinfeld plot line.
What is it, Jerry?
So here's the clue. Who planted the seed? Someone who made their money with Jerry. Steve Bannon. That's how he made all his fucking money. He was a fucking code. You don't know this?
Steve Bannon
Google it.
is related to Jerry
Steve
Seinfeld?
Bannon made his millions off the television show. That's what made him rich. He got a piece of that. Surprised you don't know that.
How Steve Bannon made a fortune off Seinfeld. These pretzels are making me thirsty. Let's see.
Tonight.
I've graduated from wine to Walker.
Johnny. Black or red?
It's racist, but red. I can afford black.
It's not racist. It's colorful.
Yes. Interesting. I will put this link in the show notes and maybe even read it at some point. The show notes at happyhour.fm/081. 81.
81.
Motherfucker. Imagine that.
That's how old I feel.
Hey, it's a perfect square. Ain't it?
Oh, so.
Non-squared.
Episode 32 on the shed. So not only is the shed finished, which the show notes reflect, but
oh, thank God we got to follow up on the shed.
I added an awning 10 foot out, except this.
Damn.
Instead of a 12-foot long awning wide open, I made it 8 foot long, and I cut off 4 foot of that awning. So on the other side of a wall, there's a storage area.
Hold on. You said I made a 10-foot awning, and rather than make it 12 foot, I made it 8 foot.
Yeah.
And so I'm not an accountant, but that shit don't add up.
I might have been a tad. I might have been a tad confused. Let me start over.
Let's audit this awning.
Myself, which I do all day long.
Time for an awning audit.
All day long, I talk to myself. Out loud, I say, "That's not the way. This will be. You need 2 of these, whatever." And a couple of times, I say, "Fucking Dennis!"
Yeah.
What the fuck? The spray gun kept unplugging.
That's why you're a podcaster.
While I'm spraying the paint, it unplugs and it stops. Fuck. Annoying.
You were spraying paint and something unplugged?
Spray painted the wall and the awning. Let me get started.
All right.
Let me start over.
Let's start.
The shed.
Everyone ignore everything up until this point.
The shed is 12 foot long, as everyone recalls.
Yes.
And the shed is 10 feet deep. It attaches to my garage. I added an awning the same size. Just 3 poles and galvanized metal roofing. Big frame. 3 poles.
Well, wait. You say awning. When I think awning, I think the European awning that is a cloth thing that extends out. You're talking about...
So this is a metal awning.
What
I mean by awning is it could also be called a porch, but it's actually not a porch because it's not... It could be the porch of the shed, but it's covered. But it's big. Okay? So we put in a lawn couch and 2 lawn chairs and plants and end tables. It's big enough to hold all that. But 8 feet in, I built a wall so that on the other side of the wall, there is a 4-foot section that's under the galvanized metal roof.
Yep.
And that is the storage area. And you might recall...
Hold on.
That I was talking... Wait. What was my favorite tool last week? Do you remember? What was my favorite tool?
You have so many favorite tools.
The granite thing that the 4x4, the post, slips into. And I said, it already moved it 3 times. That's what I said last episode.
Yeah,
you said, what is it? And I told you again, and you said, I don't know what that means.
Well, anyway, I mean, that's generally...
Everybody was listening.
How this goes.
It's simple. Here's the deal, man.
Wait.
I had to move that post again on the storage side because my shelf that was pre-built wouldn't fit, 6 inches short. I moved the post over, shoved it in, and there it sits. You will get a video of now the area. I took some other shelves, took a 3/4 inch 4x8 hunk of 3/4 inch treated plywood, put it up on a railroad tie, put it on the back of the shelves, and attached to that lattice, and spray painted it all gray, same color as the shed. And now I have an area which, except for one thing, is great area, but there's one thing.
Winter is coming?
It's a little flooded back there because the people who laid the concrete back in the day didn't prep the area well enough. So there's a what's the opposite of a swale?
A low spot, a U, indentation, a puddle.
A low spot of work.
Yeah. And so the water collects in a place that you don't want it to collect.
So sledgehammer, when it's dry, sledgehammer, If that doesn't work, fucking concrete saw or jackhammer. I'm leaning toward a jackhammer because might as well just rip the shit out of there and
Put in fresh.
dig a hole and put fucking gravel in it rather than fuck with cutting the concrete and inserting a drain. You insert a drain, where's it going to drain? Into a gully? Is it going to drain in a rain-soaked? It's, you know, you got to, for that kind of water, you got to dig a hole. I got a guy who digs holes for me.
Yeah,
His name is Matt. In my phone, he's Matt the Grunt.
Yes, he's a returning character.
Visitor, right? He's frequent visitor. Oh, Dexter's coming back, by the way, talking about frequent visitors.
I saw a thing that's like a brief. It's not all the way coming back. It's just like a brief little couple episodes or something.
It's a season.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's a series. Yeah,
well,
but
good.
Deb died. Deb died in the last episode in the finale,
right?
And he got on his boat and he went into the hurricane,
right?
And they found the fucking remnants of his boat, presumed dead. Deb died, and then they show him being a fucking lumberjack,
right?
Of all fucking things, and it was panned, widely panned. It was worse than the fucking end of fucking Game of Thrones.
And in the subsequent years, his career hasn't gone anywhere. We're gonna reboot it. That makes sense. Although he's pretty successful, I think, in like stage.
Who?
Michael, whatever his name is, Dexter.
Oh, Michael C. Hall.
Yeah. He hasn't been.
Oh God.
I haven't seen him since he went off on that boat. But
interesting.
But
I haven't either.
Right. So, exactly. So it's let's end this season. Let's end this series, and then 10 years go by, and you're like, I could use some more money. Why don't we reboot this thing? Because we didn't really kill off my character or whatever. But anyway, okay. So back to your drain brain. You've got this problem where you just can't get the water away, but
the concrete has formed a perfect little pool. It's a concrete pool, and it's deep enough that it goes over the top of your shoe.
Can you like dive into it?
You could, because your fucking pathetic fucking ankle and foot would catch yourself.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
The audience got angry at your derogatory remarks there. Yeah. So I'm glad that your shed. So how close are you to like saying, okay, I'm done with this?
Oh, okay. So good question. So that's what I posed yesterday because I'm not behind schedule in as much. You never know how long stuff takes. But one of the final things
if you don't have a destination, you're never behind schedule, right?
Well, I've got a destination, but winter is coming.
That's what I said.
Winter is coming.
Yes.
All right. And when it's winter here, I can't do anything out there.
You don't want a puddle because a puddle is going to be
got to do it now.
Slip and break your hip or whatever. Yeah. And winter is coming.
In order to take down the tent that was my gardening tent and move all the shit into what I built, which is a gardening shed, right? Right. In order to do that, I've got to finish one more thing, I thought to myself, and it was building shelves. So this is what I did. In my tent, there were two identical shelves with shelves 12 inches apart, 4 foot high, 5 foot high, actually. One was 3 foot long, one was 2 foot long, and they were just pine, built well, in my shed, carrying stuff. I put them in my new shed. I took the 8-foot board that I received free from Lowe's, and on a 10-foot wall, I put the board between those two, not identical shelves, but they were the same height. One is longer, wider than the other, but they're both the same height shelves. They're a 2-unit set of shelves that you can put in a room. And the lumber worked perfectly. All I had to do was clean the wood. But no, I wasn't satisfied with that. And then I decided I needed 4 foot of that wall to hang my tools that have cords. My power cutter, my weed whacker, my this and that and the other, all the shit you got to have if you're going to keep up this property. And so I took the lumber and cut it and built myself a shelf. When I finished those shelves today, which took 3 screws, a unit, stand up, listen to me, stand up vertical, built off shelf, 5 shelves.
5 shelves with 3 screws.
All of the shelves are held in with 3 screws. 5 shelves. Here's a riddle for you.
Bullshit.
Where did I put the screws? 3 screws. If you can figure this out, I will give you, next time I see you, I will give you $100 bill.
Okay, so You hung
Time's
five shelves with 3 screws.
Yes. Off of an existing shelf on one end. They were on top of an existing shelf that had 6 shelves before you got to the top. And that's where the end of one of the shelves were. And then I used the board to hold it upright. Where did I put the 3 screws to attach all of those shelves, 5 shelves, to that upright? 3 screws. How did I do it?
Wow. Okay.
And remember this. If you use one screw in a board and you put it in the middle, it'll twist. Or if you put it on the left end, the right end will dip when you put anything heavy on it. Remember that. Okay.
I never forget that.
I want to ask you this.
Yes.
What would be a reasonable amount of time that we should give you to figure this out for this $100?
No.
And you'll be on the honor system. I won't do it tonight because it's too much.
I think you're wrong about this.
But
I think that this is the exercise for the listeners where they can write to us.
To get the $100?
Yes. They can write to us at happyhourdotfm@gmail.com with the answer. And we will award you by saying your name and whatever message you would like to give to Dennis. But I just, personally, I'm just impressed that Dennis has managed to screw his shelf.
So let me tell you this.
Go screw your shelf, Dennis.
I want you to understand. When I was out today, this morning, running my errands and picking up the paint I needed to spray paint the wall, the shed gray, and the lattice gray, I failed to pick up nails because I really didn't have, or screws, big star-headed screws they're called. And the drill bit is shaped like the head of the screws is a hexagon. It's got 6.
You know what a hexagon is, yes.
Instead of a Phillips head, which is a cross,
it's
or
like
a straight line.
It's like a Star of David. It's a Jew screw.
No, but yeah, back in the day. Here's the thing. This is part of the riddle. This is the way the riddle should go.
Okay.
When I found myself building the shelf today and had failed to get the screws, which are 1.5-inch screws that were needed to be able to use to make sure that these 5 shelves were tight and they would hold the weight, I only had 3 screws left. In fact, I had 2 screws. And I already salvaged screws yesterday in wood that I had thrown into the wood pile that had a screw in it that wouldn't easily come out. And so I had scavenged. Mm-hmm. I needed 1 more screw. I knew I needed at least 3. I went back to the scavenge pile, dug around, found a little length of 2x4 with a fucking screw in it, took the screw out. I had 3. That's what I needed to build the shelf. That is the question. Why did I only need 3 screws, and how did I do it? Same question.
Yeah.
The answer is...
I think it's related to the fact that 3 points are needed to make a plane in geometry, but that's as far as I can go. Good luck to our listeners. We will be receiving...
Got to have a time frame. This isn't unending. They got to do it in the next...
By the end of the year, I think we'll give them. the end of the year 2020.
That's $100. End of the year.
What, $100 worth is going to be worth in 2021? Shit.
Whenever you post this, whenever you've edited this and you post this, you put in the show notes when the offer ends. Uh-huh. And the offer ends within hours after you post it.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
That's not the way podcasts work. Yeah. If you post the winning answer.
What do you mean?
I will.
Not the way a podcast works.
Yeah. You don't.
Why not?
Yeah. Okay. Whoever posts the winning answer.
We want to reward our listeners who look forward to our episodes, and as soon as it's posted, they're eager to see it. That's who I want to win this $100.
That would be totally true if I were a proper podcast host and editor and delivered our episodes on a regular schedule. But who knows what the fuck day this is coming out, and it's...
Well, why can't you do the last show note as a predictive date?
Okay.
Because you're edited. Well, how long after you edit do you make it available?
As quickly as possible, basically.
Immediately.
But sometimes I edit like 2 in a row on a day, and then I spread them out a little bit just so that they don't come out back to back. But so anyway, this $100 is going to go into my pocket to fund the podcast editing software that I'm paying for to edit this. And you, the listener, are going to receive the accolades of Dennis praising you, like, oh my God, you're so clever, whatever your name is, Maria, whatever. Great. I have a thing that I'd like to discuss with you, Dennis. It's a moral conundrum that has come into my life. And to be honest, I'm not really...
How can I be of service to you, my son?
I'm honestly torn. So, in my apartment building, we have 25 apartments. And it's actually more than that, 30. And we have this sign in the lobby that says it is prohibited to park your bicycle in the lobby. And it's like so many things in life. It's a rule, much like all of the COVID stuff. It's a rule that it's better for everyone if everyone follows it. If one person doesn't follow it, it's not the end of the world. But if no one follows it, then it's going to be a disaster, right? So many people in my building have bicycles that they are keeping in their apartments or somewhere to follow this rule.
They're so big. It becomes so much room.
So many people are respecting this sign and this rule for the benefit of the tribe, of the local people.
25 apartments, 100 people, 80 people.
We recently had a new person move in and who is not respecting this rule, who is leaving his bicycle in the lobby. And this bicycle is not bothering anybody. It is totally in a corner where it's not bothering anyone, and whatever, it happens to be right next to the sign that says prohibited to leave your bicycle in the lobby.
Is it there because he is saying fuck you, or is it there because he can't actually carry his bicycle upstairs? Is it elevators?
We have elevators. So it's not.
Oh.
So it's because I'm assuming it's a he, has decided that, well, this rule is great for everybody, but it doesn't apply to me. Why?
No,
why
I don't think that's it. I know it's a rule. Fuck it. What are they going to do? Tell me to stop? It's worth it. I don't care. I'll do this as long as I get away with it. It's so much easier. So what's the moral conundrum?
Okay, so
I don't. It's not that he's so arrogant that he doesn't think the rules apply. I don't necessarily go there. It's that he's like, you know what? Until somebody stops this, I'm going to do it because I don't want to get that fuck. I haven't unpacked yet. I got no place to put this bike. Everybody else there who's settled, I'm not settled. And so what's the moral dilemma?
Okay, maybe. So
to do something about it?
Okay, but the problem that is here is that what can you do about it? Because you can't fucking call the cops because the cops aren't going to care, and nor can you say, oh, at the next biannual meeting of the people that live in this building, should we talk about it?
Don't you have a landlord?
No, we all own our own apartments. We have a business administrator that manages all of the taxes and stuff for the building, and then tells us how much we have to pay. Yeah, that we have some sort of a governing body that we are, not only are they managing things, but we're paying them to manage our building. But if you tell them, what are they going to do? They're not going to investigate to figure out who it is. What?
That will take a minute. You can tell them who it is. The new guy.
Well,
it's a new guy.
I don't know who it is.
What's the dilemma?
So I don't know. There's something about fucking Donald Trump that, when I talk to my wife about this, she's, I don't care. The bike's not bothering me. Whatever. But something about it is really bothering my internal primate tribal sense of community. Of, look, we have fucking rules. Why do we have the rules? If we're gonna let someone not follow the rules, not pay their taxes, not et cetera, et cetera, it just annoys me.
I got the solution.
What's the solution?
Buy a card. Buy a blank card that's got some odd picture on the front of it. Something that is quizzical. And when you open the card and the blank card, write this. I see you park your bike here. I want to park my bike here too. But it's not allowed for the good of the tribe, so I'm not going to do it.
You think that this person is going to be high-minded enough to be like, oh,
yes,
okay, well, in that case,
yes.
I won't either.
This will work. Because
I'm so tempted to chain his bicycle to the stairwell
You
or
don't have to
something.
be violent about
Like,
it.
fuck you. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's the level of anger I have.
I didn't know you were. What the fuck, man? Take it easy. It's just your wife is laid back. That pisses you off too, probably.
It's like,
How could you not be upset about this?
Why do we have rules if we're going to allow individuals that see through them?
It's not that big of a rule.
This is what we discussed last episode, where it's like Donald has seen through the Matrix and has seen that there actually are no consequences if you're clever enough, and that pisses me off.
You're aware that the Matrix 3 is coming. You aware of it? It's being shot.
There were 3 Matrix movies.
Oh, this is the 4th one.
Must be the 4th. Also, Keanu is coming back for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I thought he already did.
It's about to be released. I don't know if it's released yet or not, but it's coming out. Yeah, there's another example of, although I think Keanu's career is doing pretty okay, but the idea of what if we could just print more money using an existing character that I've already done before, blah, blah, blah.
Hey, I got a funny story.
You
know who Jeffrey Toobin is? He's an analyst. He's a legal analyst.
He's been in the news this week, yes.
He's been in the news this week. So imagine this scene.
I've tried not to so far, but go ahead.
Here he is on a Zoom call with business leaders, women and men, all over the world, and he's having a business meeting.
Hold on. They were recreating election night, and like certain people were playing different roles. They were like role-playing Biden and Trump and stuff is what I read. Really? Yeah. But anyway, continue.
So he's sitting there and he says to himself, he says, oh man, I'm glad that's over. And people are still on the screen. He's still got it open, but he thought he had pressed leave meeting, and he reaches down. And
wait, hold on. This was after the meeting was over. It wasn't during the meeting.
It wasn't actually over. He actually hadn't left the meeting, and it zoomed on him reaching into his pants and pulling out his penis, which was the first story. The second story was, if you watch just another minute, he didn't just show his junk. He was taking it to see the fucking bishop. He was pounding the pork. He was eating the horse.
If we need a verb for this, I think Toobin is a pretty good one.
Mushroom cap.
He was Toobin the Tube, yeah.
And so this is what he says in his statement. He says, I thought the meeting had ended, and I apologize. It's number one. We know that's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is, what the fuck were you doing? What was it about this meeting that got you so fucking aroused that you decided who was in this meeting? Again, second time tonight. Again, where's the follow-up question? It's not this or that. That's fine. That's obvious. The question is, what caused it? That's the next question. What caused it? What went on in the meeting? What particularly, what went on at the end of the meeting? Or during the meeting, was somebody, maybe some woman, telling him again and again how bright he was? Oh, he's so smart. And maybe, who knows? Who knows? And somehow that makes him, fucking pulsate. What the fuck?
Politics is pretty sexy.
I guess.
It's just.
I guess. So did you saw the Trump thing you sent me, where I haven't seen yet what I imagine we will see, which is the video, if there is one, I don't know there is, of Trump leaving Leslie Stahl's interview on 60 Minutes. I don't believe he stormed off on camera. I believe that he stopped it, or there was a break, and he said, we're done. So it might not have been filmed. But then he released, as you showed me, a video showing her with this notebook of all the stuff they had done to improve healthcare.
Right.
And when you went, and so I didn't know that had happened. And it was this little footage that they showed.
If he hadn't tweeted it, he tweeted it. Like, no one would have noticed. No one would have noticed. But he tweeted that, I showed her all the stuff that we've done in healthcare. And the photo that he tweeted is of her looking into this book that is clearly bound. It's bound with leather of totally empty pages. It's a prop from a movie, it would be. And it's that metaphor is just so fucking perfect. It's look at this thing that looks like it's something, but is really nothing.
So the video that I saw on the website you sent me of somebody leafing through clear.
That was a follow-up tweet to the original. That was like
so you're telling me it ended up being true?
That the photo that he tweeted was of a book that looked empty is true. Whether or not whoever responded to that included a thing that made it look more funny.
Didn't actually have it in their possession.
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was full of stuff or whatever. Who knows? It could be the minutes again, from every fucking
Photoshop can do.
It could be
whatever.
Every press conference he had, all the words. That would fill a notebook, even though it was the same. So many times it was the same thing. Did you see what he said in Erie, Pennsylvania? Did you see what he said? He went to Erie. He said, "You know what? I don't want to come to Erie. If we were doing better, I wouldn't be here. I'd call you. I'd say, hey, get out the vote, whatever. Yes. But here we are in Erie, whatever."
Oh,
and people clap.
That's the most, but that's super honest of him.
It is.
That, you know what he said? And when have I ever said, wow, that was a super honest thing that Trump said?
You know
Never.
What he said in Erie? He said, listen, there's a couple of things that you got to think about. This is going to be, ended up to be a short rally, a little chilly in Erie, PA. And he said, all you need to do is think about the economy because of what the this and this and that and the other. And number two, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the second one even was. But here's the thing. Those two things that he said in Erie, PA are actually thing. Number one, with the economy, there's more people polled who believe that he will do a better job on the economy than Biden. It's the only area where he polls better. And his campaign strategists have been saying to him forever, just talk about that, you fucking bonehead.
It's the economy, stupid.
It's the economy, stupid. It's Bill Clinton and James Carville all over again. It's real fucking simple. But except like that.
Because if you're the incumbent and the economy is doing well, you're almost unassailable.
Here's the truism.
The fact that he's the incumbent and the economy is shit, but he can say, he can lie, but whatever. Yes.
If the incumbent is the issue, they lose the election 100% of the time.
Yeah.
There's to you. Makes me want to fucking drink.
Dennis.
What?
Have you seen the rest of The Third Day?
Oh,
have you seen all 6?
Saw it last night.
Amen. Wow. What a miniseries. There's so much left unknown, but I love media and books and movies and things that leave things unsaid or unknown and to be determined by the viewer. I love, like, Inception comes to mind as an ending that half the people are going to leave the cinema being like, what the fuck, was it a dream or was it not? And the other half are going to leave like, yeah, man, it's like, how could we ever even know, man? And so there were so many unanswered questions, but
give me one unanswered question that you have, a primary or whatever.
Yeah, where did the boy come from?
So,
and what happened to the original boy? And what did I dream this? But I'm pretty sure I could go back and look, but I don't have time. I'm pretty sure that one of the sort of gory drawings that the little boy had drawn was of a man with an axe through his chest.
Yes. So the other thing is, of course, the boy said to Sam, Nathan.
Yes.
Said to Sam, and in front of Sam, but said to his mother.
Well.
That he was sorry, and that he knew that what she said to him.
Yes.
That she didn't mean it. Now, that put a face because only he would know that. Except, however, she did tell.
Yes.
More than one person on the island.
She told a
few people about it.
Yeah. Which is.
But so the question about who Nathan is answered quite well by Emily Watson's character who was astounding.
Yes, she was fantastic.
And she had to explain it, and she did. And this is what she said. She said, there was this boy. It's not our fault that he mistook him for his son, but
we let him believe.
That only helped us anyway, and whatever. And she explained what happened to the boy, to Nathan. She told his mother. They had a guy abduct him. He died.
Right. And
they found the guy with the body.
Right.
That was a resolved issue. And
True.
they set him afloat, which then shows itself later as she is, miraculously, as only a mother could, with her strength and courage, walking the boat against the outgoing tide. She looks in the boat, and there is Nathan. And we see for the first time
the real
in
Nathan.
The entire series, Nathan in the shirt that he let down the stream on the front episode, matching the bag full of money, the exact same pattern as she clutched it, as she might have been dying as she moved into what is an unknown. Did she live? Did she die?
Wow. Yes.
Clutching the bag powerfully in a clutching moment and a death moment. And that bag taking the shape as a shapeshifter as a shirt before it's tucked underneath and held in her shivering hands.
Whoa. So the question arises, could one conceive of a second season? Probably, because there's so much like crazy voodoo stuff that's unknown, and the whole heir to the island throne, etc. And I don't know. There was a bit there in the middle where I felt like the producers couldn't quite afford Jude for all 6 episodes, so he was absent for a couple.
Really?
But yeah,
no, it was that's I can't go with that. It was the script was a dual plot.
Yeah. I understand, but
general description
part of my
was of different people traveling to the island at different times. The autumn, the summer. He went in the summer. Remember the acid-like camera.
It was
of the summer,
and then
she was the winner, the grays and the blues. And so I thought, because the end of the episode number 3, where you see her story without any real true understanding of the connections, only knowing there was that on the iPad is the ba 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 ba. It's him. It's him. I did not have a fucking clue that was the case. Did you?
No. And the mixing of races was clever to throw that scent off, I think. If she had been a blonde lady, I think it might have been like, oh, I wonder if...
Right.
But
how did learning that and seeing that make you feel?
It was exciting, exhilarating.
Did your heartbeat increase? Was there adrenaline pumping from your system into your fucking pea brain?
My heart beat twice that minute. Yes. No, but it was a well constructed series. I especially liked how the American woman turned, and I learned this last night while I was watching this.
What?
Yeah, do you know who her father is?
I might have known. Who is it?
Her father is
Sam Waterston.
Sam Waterston.
Yeah, Sam Waterston from among
Law and
other
Order.
things, Network News.
And right. What? Not Law and Order. No.
No, the newsroom.
Yes. And now that I know that
he died a tragic death in that series.
Yes, but he's still alive today.
I thought that they just happened to capture his death on film.
Wouldn't that be something?
Well, it's happened.
But she was pretty fantastic, and her turn to the dark side, like where you kind of like her at the beginning, and then you discover
very
that
very much so. But you know when you knew? You remember the moment you knew that she had that side of her? You remember? The moment you knew is this. When she was telling Ellie's youngest daughter,
yeah,
Lou, to come in and sit down.
Oh no, that was the moment for sure.
Close up of her face.
Yeah.
And her entire fucking
Face change.
demeanor,
Yeah.
starting with her eyes, moving down her nose into her mouth until she was fucking frightening. And
Yes.
you knew then. Of course, she had already taken a knife and hid it behind her skirt, which, to make sure that I understood this, I repeated that in slow-mo twice to make sure that it was what I thought it was.
Okay, I have several things to hear. First is...
Okay, number one. You have a list? Number one.
The daughters did some amazing acting. Well fucking done to them. And
amazing. Perfection.
Yeah. And I love the cleverness of, I'm lost here, but I'm going to curl up and go to sleep under the bed.
Yeah.
Because that way, if anyone comes in, they might not notice me. That was super clever of that particular character, of Lulu.
The knife.
And she had the knife too. I have a concern. It felt very obvious to me, and this is a thing that they do all over cinema, that anytime someone is carrying a knife, anytime the knife moves, they put in this like sound effect where it's as if it's not as if the knife is moving fast, but it's as if you're running something along the knife to. It's like they want to convey sharpness with sound, and this was super evident in the third day. And
really,
to me it was anytime.
Sound, in fact, of Sam stabbing to death.
That was extra. Like they went extra on that. Yes, which also bothered me. Yes, and
the look. That's a moment I want you to capture in the show notes. When he looked up, and his daughter Lou looked at him, and his hair was crazy. He had blood splattered on his face. That is the moment of Jude Law in the far reaches of this character.
Yeah,
that is him at the ultimate end of that character. So the question I have, he's now there with who he thinks is Nathan, who we think does have some, as one writer wrote, maybe it's a stuck Nathan. Maybe he got stuck when he was 10 years old. And that's the Nathan. Because this island is, in fact, fucking magical.
Supernatural,
It's not just all bullshit. There's some shit that goes on here.
Yeah.
It's interesting that OC Island is real.
Yes, it is. Isn't that cool?
Stunning.
I've been to an island off of England that was where the path there is covered at high tide, but it wasn't that one. Well, hold on. 2 questions. What the fuck does the title mean? The third day.
In 3 days, God made certain amounts of the universe. The first day, second day, third day. The names.
Genesis. You're going to Genesis on this?
Yes, it's biblical.
Okay, yeah, I'm aware
biblical. And
they are Christian. What I said in my original response to your recommendation.
They're an aberration of the Christian religion, or an offshoot, however you want to describe it.
I mean,
but a virgin, the Blessed Virgin Mother, pregnant, nailed on a crucifix to the cross with real blood. Holy fuck! What? Who thought of this? Who put that on the screen? And then think about Ellie and how she was like weirded out. Not nearly enough.
Right.
Not nearly enough weirded out. That's kind of shit that you fucking, it's repulsive. You scream. I found that a little now in talking about it. That was a little bit of that's not how she'd react. It wouldn't be no, there was blood. It would be either, fuck, what the fuck is this? Or at least, who did this?
Right.
How is this possible? What is this really blood? Well, let's look at the ceiling and where it comes from. Let's see about this
science on this.
But it's right, either one or the other. But no, it's not this though. Dun, 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 dun. And then it moves on to the next scene.
Yeah, as you may recall, in my original response to your suggestion of watching this, one of my guesses was, that sounds like Easter, saying the third day. However, despite all the Christian imagery, there was no real mention of Jesus at all in this series. So I don't think it's that.
I differ. I mean, and I won't necessarily say that. Let me tell you there was a repeated scene in the hotel where Sam and what's the character's name? The woman, Anna, stayed,
Jess?
etc. What's her name? Jess.
Yeah.
And in that was a picture of the bleeding heart of Jesus.
Oh, yes,
which
it was.
is
That's
a
like open up.
prototypical.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that, and you can, if you care, give a shit, you can figure this out. In the beginning, that was a prototypical. That was an illustration of a very well-known depiction of Christ.
Right.
As the series progressed, they made it more gruesome. And at the end, they showed the ribs inside of Jesus Christ. He was increasingly eviscerated.
I thought it was always that gruesome, but you're saying that...
I don't think so.
Interesting.
I would have noticed.
Yes,
So
I just did an image...
You'd have to see it again.
I just did an image search of Jesus' heart, and obviously...
But then his ribs. And not the dripping guts. The other thing is when they showed the sheep, and what's the elder girl's name in the movie?
Lou is the little one, and... Yeah. Her.
She spies the sheep that's not only been eviscerated, but it has a baby doll inside of it. Once again, this is what it's like. Da-da-da-da!
Yeah, all of those shock scares, it was just boring. Yeah.
You run screaming the fuck out of there like your hair is on fire, and you can't believe and you're scraping at your eyes and hoping to God that the image leaves you before you fucking die. You're fucking screaming crazy. If you find that shit where you are, you don't walk. You can walk around it, sure, but at the end of it, it's two things. It's either that or it's, wait a minute, is this real? Let's look closer. Is this a real sheep? Is this real guts? Whatever. Like we said about science or emotion. Not da-da-da-da. That's two things. Although it led to our building a crescendo of what the fuck is this? We were the ones, rather than the characters saying, what the fuck? Maybe that's the plan of the director. Maybe it's, no, our characters aren't going to do that. You do that.
Yeah, the character's name is Ellie, by the way.
Oh, and the mom's name is what then?
Helen.
Of course.
Yeah. The thing that detracted from this for a little bit for me was all of these sort of obvious creep scares, like the sheep in the baby doll. It's just okay.
Well, I didn't mind that. I thought it was integral to the understanding of what ends up to be a cult, which has at least the pain, sacrifice of children embedded in it, and murderous and death and violence as a built-in deal. The evisceration of all of the animals throughout the series, and then this jarring graffiti that was being scrubbed out as Helen arrived in the winter, and they were scrubbing out what looked like an African or an ancient, almost a stone drawing, which looked like a human reaching underneath its legs and spreading what obviously was either a vagina or an eviscerated gut. In it was red, was just red. But it was that recurring, unsettling, what the fuck is this, that kept us like, wow, this is weird.
Yeah, I agree. On the one hand, I dislike those this makes no sense turns. But I have to admit that on the other hand, those what the fuck is this turns make me keep wanting to watch. So that it's a balance there that is very tenuous. It's pretty easy.
What do you think about that idea that the director or the screenwriter and the director between them and the actors between them intentionally downplayed those things so they knew that our role was to be totally fucking what the fuck rather than them? That we fulfilled that emotion, and what helped evoke it was the fact that wasn't happening on the screen. What was happening on the screen was very low key and gave us the moment we needed to say, what the fuck is that? A sheep opened up and a baby inside the sheep. Who the fuck thinks about these things?
I like that. That downplaying of the character in the scene to extra bother the viewer. I like that analysis. That's basically what we're going for on Happy Hour, is we're just all cool and collected, but we say things that make the listener go, what the fuck are they talking about? And
let me hear your heartbeat, darling.
What?
Boom, boom,
Boom,
boom.
boom, boom.
I can't wait to hear it clear. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, your heartbeat's what I cherish. If I don't hear it, I'll just die. Your heartbeat means more to me, darling,
Beep, beep, beep,
than I can ever express.
beep, 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 beep,
And if it's the last thing that I hear, girl,
beep.
well, you know that I can rest.
Beep. That was dark. Sorry.
It's the end of our natural broadcast hour. Please tune back in at 5 o'clock a.m. when we will be back on the air again. Thank you for joining our programming. It's been our pleasure to serve you.
Enjoy this color scan screen. All right, that'll do it for episode number 81. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/081. You can send us your answers to the 3 Screws riddle to happyhourdotfm@gmail.com. And if you'd like to help us make the show, you can go to patreon.com/happyhour. And for the love of God, go vote if you can. For Biden. See you next week.